It wasn't, but it can be. Kelly, you ready? Commissioners, ready? Carrie, you ready? All right. We're going to call to order the regular meeting of the City Commission for Tuesday, September 28th. If you would, silence your cell phones. City Clerk, if you'd call the roll, please.
Mayor Owen.
Present.
Vice Mayor Sachs.
Here.
Commissioner Hartman.
Here.
Commissioner Clody.
Present.
Commissioner McGurk.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to begin in just a moment with an invocation, as always, and a pledge immediately following. At our last meeting, I shared with the audience, with permission from the family, we had a firefighter, Jeremy McElfresh, who had a medical incident and was in the hospital at the time, really fighting, and young family, just a beautiful young family. Jeremy is still in the hospital, still fighting, and that's great news, actually. And so I'd ask you all, the McElfresh family is one of faith. If you also are of faith, they would certainly appreciate your prayers, or just keep them in your hearts and on your mind. And I'd ask Chaplain Pete Carter, if you would, to remember that family as well tonight as we lead off in prayer. And if you check out the city's social media, sharing as many updates as we can there, and also some opportunities to help that family. Just a great first responder and an unfortunate incident, and trying to rally around that family as best we can. So, but again, good news. He's fighting. He's a fighter. He goes by Cubby, and Cubby's a fighter, and he's continuing to fight through this. So with that, we'll stand and ask Police Department Chaplain Pete Carter to give the invocation and remain standing for the pledge immediately following.
Commissioners, please excuse my shades. I had my eyes dilated earlier. I expressed I'm not trying to be cool. Let us pray. Most holy and most gracious and kind God, we thank you for once again allowing us to come forward on this day to discuss those things that would help make our city a more beautiful place to live, a place where those that come will see and enjoy and be able to just relax and take part of all that we have here. And God, we ask a special prayer on Jeremy's family, that you continue to be with him, continue to strengthen his body, continue to allow him to recover and heal, and continue to give his family strength and comfort during this most difficult time. And we ask that you would just allow us all to continue to remember all of those that go out day after day and put their lives on the line on our behalf. We thank you and we bless you. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Pastor Pete. All right, Khaled, changes to tonight's agenda. I think you've got a few for us here.
Yes, sir. I have two items that we are pulling out. The first one is 6Q, and that is consider the approval of a lease agreement between Epic Aviation and the City of New Smyrna Beach.
Okay.
The second item is 6Y, and that is a special event. Consider approval of Girls' Night Out events on Canal Street. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay. So, gentlemen, if you caught that, there's two items on the consent agenda, so item 6Q and 6Y, that we will not be considering tonight. That will come back to us probably at a future time. I believe item 4A also we're having to delay tonight to a future meeting, the October 12th meeting. We're going to continue item 4A, that swearing-in ceremony, to October the 12th. Is that still that's correct? Okay. So we'll look forward to doing that, though. Look forward to Deputy Police Chief Mr. Feldman joining. All right, next item up is public participation. So this is your chance to address the City Commission. You'll have 3 minutes per person that speaks. 3 minutes. There's a timer right there. I ask you to be respectful of that on behalf of the Commission and your fellow neighbors and citizens. Be respectful of the 3 minutes. Address your comments to the Commission. And we usually don't respond during that. This is your chance to speak. We spend the whole meeting talking. So this is your chance to talk. If you raise a question or a comment or something, staff's taking notes, we're taking notes. We'll either reply after public participation or sometimes at the end of the meeting, or a staff member we may direct to follow up with you. So that's just kind of how that works in general. And with that, I will ask, is anyone here for public participation? This is your chance. You just come right up to the podium, give your name and address, it's first come, first serve. It's whoever takes the first initiative to walk forward. So just give your name and address when you begin. And make sure to speak right into that mic so that folks can hear you.
Hi. First, I wanted to say thanks for letting the public go first. I've been to many other city council meetings where the public has to wait to the very end, and that can get pretty late at night sometimes. My name is Bob West, and my wife of 49 years, Betsy, is here in the audience with us. We just recently bought our home at 819 Hope Avenue on Beachside. The previous owners did not disclose any flooding issues to us, so we got a really big surprise one day when we had a really heavy rain and we had the street flood. Pretty murky water, and the waters came all the way up into our yard. We're the third house west of the pump, so it had come all the way down. We were a little worried that it might actually come into the house, so that was kind of a wake-up call there. I would also like to note that when the street floods, the water is murky, and the vault doors actually float open on that, and you can't see it when they float open because of the murky water. So someone could actually walk into it and fall because it's very, very deep, so it's kind of dangerous. I would like to ask that the City Council vote for the three-phase current that we need to handle these larger pumps. I would like to make sure that the job gets done right the very first time and we don't have to go back and do it over again. We do need the very large pumps for this because we have a huge amount of both groundwater and, rainwater that comes.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. 49 years. A couple newlyweds out there. Yes, ma'am. Come on up.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm just going to test to be sure. I'm Melody James and my husband of 49 years, Bobby James. We are owners at 823 Hope Avenue. So we have owned that home since 2003. My family built it in 1998. And we have firsthand knowledge of the flooding issues there on Hope Avenue. Prior to the city's Central Beach Phase 3 flood mitigation improvement project that began in 2014 and lasted for 3 years, as a reminder to the Commission, this project had a contract cost of nearly $9 million. We attended and provided comments at the public meetings and patiently suffered through the construction impacts to our street, our property, and quality of our lives being blocked out of our driveways. We lived through the significant disruption with the understanding that the city was permanently fixing the stormwater flooding issues on Hope Avenue. As stated on the city's own website to this day for this project, that when it was completed, heavy rainfall would no longer flood our neighborhoods. We had flooding on Hope Avenue as recent as September 8th and July 20th. The city and its contractor, Massey Construction, did not permanently fix our flooding issues. Instead, the taxpayers' monies were wasted with an inadequate system, and costs have continued to skyrocket as the system has required continual repair, redesign, and extraordinary time and effort from the city's streets crews since the project was completed in 2016. Aside from the flooding, we are also financially impacted by the devaluation of our property, as documented by the Volusia County property appraiser, because the city has not provided a functioning stormwater infrastructure system, unfortunately. We support the recommendation made by the city manager and the staff to ensure the station is provided with a three-phase power and the proper equipment and piping to eliminate the flooding that occurs on Hope Avenue during a moderate rainfall or even thunderstorm. The most recent event on September 8th had the street and our properties flooded again because the auxiliary pump positioned on our street in front of our house was unable to handle the rainfall and the ever-present groundwater that inundates the system. We request the mayor and commissioners to please unanimously approve the city staff's proposal to repair the storm water station on Hope Avenue. We support the commission utilizing the American Rescue Plan Act as the mechanism to fund the repairs. And lastly, we would also like to thank the city manager, Rashada, and Commissioner Colati for listening in our homes to the homeowners and coming to our homes, and most importantly, the city streets crew for their endless hard work trying to make the best of an inferior stormwater system. In conclusion, on behalf of the Hope Avenue property owners, many here tonight, we want to thank you in advance for resolving our Hope Avenue issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any others? Yes, sir. Another 49 years of marriage. If I need marriage counseling, I'm just going to go hang out on Hope Avenue, I guess.
Wife and I just celebrated 20, so.
Okay. You're the newlyweds on that block, eh?
Yeah.
All right.
My name is Ray Andrews. I live at 825 Hope, one of the Hope homeowners. I would first like to recognize those homeowners from Hope Avenue that showed up tonight. If they'd raise their hands, it shows that we have great support. I'd also like to strongly thank the other homeowners that aren't here tonight, but some of them submitted letters, some of them are out of town, and it was a combined effort to get to this stage. On behalf of the 5 homeowners who sent communications to the commission and mayor, I would like to thank Vice Mayor Sachs for his considered replies to each of the homeowners that emailed him. His listening and supporting the project is very much appreciated. I'm not up here today to rehash the details of flooding, the current state of the system, all the efforts of the homeowners, city staff, and engineering groups. I will focus my comment on one item, and that's appreciation. My wife will focus on a second item, lessons learned. Thank you to the city manager, Commissioner Galoti. The homeowners appreciate, 1, your personal interest and commitment to resolve the issues. 2, your ensuring our concerns were given consideration and regarding respecting our knowledge and experience. 3, your work to include us in the discussions with the contractors and keeping us informed as the project got redesigned. And this is one of the key things I think you're going to hear in a minute. Foremost, I cannot adequately express my respect and I guess really a lot of appreciation the homeowners have for New Smyrna street crew. In particular, Supervisor Royce Voigt. Royce and I have spent many nights out there trying to make sure that things didn't flood. Every member of the street team has worked tirelessly with great respect for our properties while sharing the frustrations of the stormwater system. They have been out repeatedly, and I cannot overstress this, all hours, all days of the year, when required, to lessen the flooding. I suggest that they be advised first thing tomorrow that there is now hope for Hope Avenue. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good evening.
My name is Colette Glenn Cross. My address is 825 Hope Avenue. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. I'm not going to revisit the past. I'm going to focus on my comments on investing in the future. Hope Avenue homeowners have professional experience that includes government, various industries, including Fortune 100 companies, as first responders and as small business owners. Our experience has taught us to identify, value, and apply lessons learned. Given the city is focused on infrastructure issues with the American Rescue Plan Act, there are a number of lessons learned from the Hope Avenue Stormwater Project. that the homeowners recommend the commission consider as other stormwater projects are identified. The first one is, lesson 1, do it right the first time. This will be the 5th fix for the Hope Stormwater Station since it was installed in 2016. Doing it right requires that you understand and verify the variables and involve the right people. Lesson number 2, optimize experience and knowledge. The city streets crews know the stormwater systems across New Smyrna. They understand and know what unseen challenges there are. For Hope, it was groundwater. They understand what equipment limitations exist. They understand what fixes should be done. These city experts are invaluable on-the-ground resources with essential firsthand knowledge. Affected homeowners are an essential resource. As with, I believe, occurred with the dog park, if the homeowners are not involved, the affected homeowners are not involved, the outcome may not be as intended. Lesson number 3, invest in setting up the right process. Based on the Commission's workshop on September 21st on the American Rescue Plan Act, it was agreed that a portion of the $14 million will be spent on infrastructure, specifically stormwater improvements. We request that the Commission set up a task force to ensure that all stormwater projects build upon the learnings and the success of the Hope Avenue project. No project should be considered as a one-off. That leads to complexity, inefficiency, and a loss of value to the neighborhoods, to the city, and to the taxpayers. The task force should be led by a skilled project manager. It would include representatives from city streets, maintenance and streets, engineering, homeowners, utilities, the vendors and contractors. Spending the money wisely is important, but solving the stormwater issues that plague New Smyrna is most important. This is an investment in our city, our neighborhoods, and the future of New Smyrna Beach. And as President Abraham Lincoln once said, you cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any others for public participation? Yes, sir. Come ahead.
Name is Jeff Walker. I live at 663 Quercus Street in Port Orange. Been married 39 years, but my wife did date me for 7 years before she said yes, so I'm getting close to 49. So
I don't know how this turned into a marriage thing.
I'm an independent.
It is not a requirement that you give your anniversary to speak. It's not turned into that. You're welcome to, but it hasn't turned into that. All right.
I'm proud of it, so I'm proud of her for putting up with me. But anyway, I've had my own business as an independent contractor for about 20 years. Active member in the Rotary, done a lot of stuff with youth, community service, been playing softball for 45 years. And what I want to talk to you today is about softball. My position normally in the New Smyrna Beach League that you guys allow us to play is third base or pitcher, which are the two hot spots on the field. I love the game because it lets us be kids again. A lot of group of guys, we love socializing and have a great time. A couple years ago, I had one of my Rotary buddies got hit in the hand while he was pitching. He was a dentist, and he had to sell his business and his practice because of it. So it started making us think about the safety issues that we've got down there. And we have a couple things because of our age. That's a situation that we'd like for you guys to be aware of. When you're playing softball or baseball, the best position, the best place to hit the ball is up the middle because there's no fielder behind the pitcher. So you get a chance to get the ball through the infield. I've been hit several times. Even last week, I got about 8 balls hit at me, and I fielded up 4 of them. 4 of them I ducked because you start realizing as you get older, you don't have the reflexes that you used to have. There's a big difference in our league. You have to be 50 years to play, 50 years old, but we also have some 75-year-olds playing. So that's a 25-year difference between some of the players. So it can lead to some interesting situations up the middle. The other thing is we play at night. So as everybody knows, driving a car at night, your vision is not as good. Our vision is not as good playing ball. So the worst thing of all of it is we have a bat called a senior bat. And this is a bat that's very, very alive. It's not like an old wooden bat or an old aluminum bat. It's a composite bat. The ball literally jumps off of the bat. I play in a 4.5 century traveling team. There's guys in their 70s that are still hitting home runs, 300 feet out of the fence. And it's because of the bat. But we've got all this going for us. Now, in this league that we're in, they have required the pitchers, because of its position, to wear a mask and to have shin guards for protection. And they have led the city to believe that they are doing everything they can to protect us, and they are not. There is a pitching screen that's about as wide as this podium, about 6 foot tall, that's being used in almost all senior leagues throughout the United States. It's definitely being used in Volusia County and the 4.5 century for all age groups. It protects the pitcher from being hit with a line drive. Now, you're going to feel bad if you get hit, but you're going to feel worse if you're the person who hit that person and took them out. Maybe they can't work. I have to keep working for a living. So I would like for you guys to help us get this screen put in place in our league for the safety of all of our players. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any others here for public participation? Yes, sir. Come right ahead.
Good evening, Board. My name is Steve Hall. My address is 260 Tuscany Chase Drive, Daytona Beach. I'm here also speaking on behalf of a pitching screen for the senior softball. My buddies, some of them play in the league that I play in, which I have played here also, but I am the commissioner of the Daytona Beach senior softball. We do implement a pitching screen. We have a 10-member board. We voted unanimously, unanimously about 6 years ago to implement it. There is no injuries as long as the pitcher gets behind the net. It is a point of emphasis in our league for a pitcher to get behind the net. They get one warning from the umpire if they don't. The second time, they must leave the pitching position and go to a different position. About a year and a half ago, we had a guy pitch the ball, and he stayed out here, didn't get behind it. This guy was 70-some years old. He got hit by a player that was 70-some years old. A ball came back, hit him in the collarbone, broke it. It is serious, and we, as our league, have implemented this, and it is a point of emphasis to get behind the net. And we watch it. I watch it as a commissioner. I'll get maybe somebody holler at me, hey, this guy ain't get behind it. I go behind the backstop. But it is a point of emphasis, and it is for safety, and that's why I'm here tonight. The guys asked me to come and on our behalf of our league, what I've seen and how it helps our league. And we all believe in safety. I know you all probably do too, I'm sure. So, that's what we want most of all, safety of everybody to go home safely. So thank you.
Real quick question for you, Steve.
Sure.
So you're on the board there. You're the commissioner of the board.
I'm the commissioner and on the board, right.
You have a 10-person board.
Yes, sir.
And that board supported the use of nets and implemented those nets.
Yes, sir.
City Commission didn't.
What's that?
The City Commission in Daytona didn't. It was the board that runs.
No, not the City Commission. It's not.
Okay.
We're run through Volusia County. That's our fields we play on are Volusia County.
Right. But the board, okay, that's on it. So you're on that board and the board implemented. Okay.
Yes. Wow.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Others? Yes, sir.
Okay, let me pass something around here. This is softball.
As long as you hand it, don't throw it at me.
It's normally we call it a softball because they're not soft. That's the league ball. This is the ball we use in all the tournaments. You don't mind passing it around, please?
All right.
My name is Don Lesher. I live in 193 East Pennsylvania Avenue in Lake Helen, Florida. The reason I'm here tonight is to try to encourage you all to force the league in New Smyrna to have a screen. The board of directors in the league is comprised of people who are appointed by the managers, and the board of directors, the guy that runs it is, if you're a manager who objects to anything that Mr. Coryell says, you're not managing anymore. So it's kind of a screwy way of doing business. But anyway, back in January last year, Mr. Ray sent a letter to our league saying that the city of New Smyrna purchased the screens. Wonderful, and we're going to start using them the next day. The same day, Coryell sends a letter to his managers that says we're not going to comply with that because the city needs to tell us why and he wanted to have a meeting with all the interested parties so we could discuss it. The next thing we find out is he's already had a meeting with the city manager, with nobody with an opposing point of view. And he probably told the city manager, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name. He probably told you that we use a softball, and you see that ball's not soft. Nobody wants to get hit with that thing. He also probably told you that the national associations don't use a screen. That's true, because the national associations are divided in 5-year increments, and then in every increment they're also divided by skill level. You have major plus players, major, AA, AAA, so never ever would you have 50-year-old major plus players playing against 80-year-old league players. This is a recreation league. Every other recreation league in Florida uses a screen, except New Smyrna. Now, I did a big research paper on that, like 6 pages long and 6 enclosures. I sent it to you all last year in January. Here we are 19 months later, and I haven't got an answer back yet. I mean, I appreciate the fact that COVID hit us, and that was more important than softball. But now COVID's still here, but we're back playing ball now, and guys are still getting hurt. Now, earlier this month, I sent another letter, just a little short one, said, hey, you guys had 19 months to answer me. How about taking a look at this issue again? And I sent it, return receipt requested, and I got it back. Refused, returned to sender. I mean,
Give it to the clerk there. We get registered mail all the time, so we don't refuse mail. So I don't know what would have happened with that.
I mean, I was an Army administrator for 22 years, and never, ever did a piece of correspondence come into my office that I didn't make sure it got answered.
Yeah.
It may not have been the answer I wanted to hear, but it was an answer.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
We'll look at that. Thank you. The others, yes, sir. Yeah, your ball's rolling.
My name is Terry O'Donnell. I live on North Atlantic Avenue in New Smyrna Beach. And I think the case for the safety net has been presented. The city has a choice to mandate a net, and the issue is put to bed, or the city can assume liability for any injuries occurred by a pitcher, serious or just something as simple as a broken hand. It's the city's choice. I'm here to defend Colonel Lesher. Over 50 years ago, he took an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. All he did was exercise his right to petition his government. The officials that run our league would not discuss a net. They wouldn't allow the players to vote on a net. So Colonel Lesher decided to take a survey and see how the rest of the players felt about a net. He felt that they all wanted a net, but he wanted to question everybody, not just the people he knew. Well, that night, 100 people signed that survey. 86 said they wanted a net. 7 said, we don't need a net, you're a little macho. And 7 abstained. 3 umpires who are all paid by the city of New Smyrna, employees of the city of New Smyrna, all signed saying we need a net, because they see line drives going by the pitcher's neck and going by you can break a toe, toes aren't protected, and these guys have to go to work the next day. We're the only senior softball league in the state of Florida that doesn't require a net to protect a pitcher. And also Mr. Robbins, who was here a couple of weeks ago, exercising his freedom of speech, he was permanently suspended from the league. Colonel Lesher has not been allowed to play in our league for a year and a half for simply taking a survey to present exercising his First Amendment rights. I don't want to take this as a criticism. I think our league is wonderful. I have no problems with the administrators of our league other than this one issue. I think they do a good job. I think the city, David Ray does a great job keeping the fields up and doing everything he can. But I think this issue needs to be resolved one way or another. I want to thank you very much for listening, and God bless.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
My name is John McKee. I live at 715 Fairway Drive. I pitch in the senior league. This is the mask that we're required to wear. What happens? I'm not afraid of getting hit in the face. It's when I turn my head, I'm getting hit in the side of the head, in the throat, in the chest. I had bruises on my forearms, my legs. We wear shin guards and we wear this mask, but I've seen a lot of people get the side of their head smashed, and I'd like to see a net just for the safety of the players. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others for public participation?
Good afternoon, Ashton Sigler, 2834 Osprey Cove Drive, New Smyrna Beach, Florida, and I actually get married in a month.
I was about to say, a newlywed, you should move to Hope Avenue because it'll last forever.
But I'm actually here tonight not for the Board of Realtors, but for the Chamber of Commerce. I've been newly put into the position of the Next Gen Professionals Committee Chair. So we're going to have our first social back on October 28th from 4 to 6 at the Chamber. We're switching it up a little bit to try and make them more than just happy hours and networking. This one's all going to be, don't be afraid to market yourself. It's on business marketing, elevator speeches, and things like that. So if you guys hear of any small business owners who don't have to be a specific age, anyone's welcome. It's $5 for members, $15 for future members. They can reach out to me or they can register at the Chamber's website. But yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any others for public participation? So if you're here for any items under 6, this is your chance to speak, as well as, really 6. Everything else you can speak at that time. So, all right, seeing no others for public participation, we will close that. Before we move to the consent agenda, gentlemen, we've had now 2 meetings where we've had numerous people approach about this softball issue. As it is right now, it's not on our agenda. It's not going to be on a future agenda. I think the city's position has been we've bought nets. They are available. I have questions about the process. I mean, in my response to some of the people that reached out to me, I don't know that I responded to everyone, but if I had a situation where I had 86 members that wanted to do something, then something's messed up with how they're putting that board in place or something. But I don't know. I mean, we heard the one gentleman from Daytona. It wasn't the mayor and commissioners of Daytona that implemented nets. It was the league and the players in the league. And my feedback to them was, if every other league in the city of Florida requires it, go to another league, and eventually our league would have to adopt it or they'd run out of players. And so I'm in favor of nets. I have no problem with using nets. We've made nets available. But the leadership, the board, however many members we have, just like the gentleman we heard from Daytona, has, we make the fields available, and then from there it's kind of this other group that manages it and runs it. So the question for my colleagues is, do we want to add this as an agenda item, or we can each share with city? I mean, how do any thoughts on this? Do we want to add it as an agenda item? If not, I don't know that it's going to go away. But I don't know that I have much more to say on it than what I've responded to some of these folks. I totally support them. I would want to have a net if I were them, but I also don't know that I don't run that league, and I don't want to be running leagues from right here. So I'll open it up just for a minute on this non-agenda item. Comments? Do we want to add it as go ahead.
Yeah, so something's broken here. Yeah. Something is not right. And what's not right in the end, I don't want to put myself in the middle of some kind of issue that I don't have a dog in the fight. But I do have a dog in the fight that this is a city field, this is a city, this is a city event, these are city league, this is a city league. And I'm having to listen to people. I have veterans coming in here and telling me that they can't get whatever this board is to listen to it. What's very clear to me is there's a safety issue here. And the vast majority of the senior leagues use these nets. I can't comprehend why they're not using one. And maybe this is just such a unique situation that we're going to have to step in. I don't know. But if it's my call to make, I'm going to say use the nets and let's get past this, because this has come back and we got the nets, and maybe the city needs to take a look at what we may be doing wrong or differently fundamentally for this kind of situation to have to occur, where these citizens and seniors are coming in here and having to make these kinds of statements. I mean, there's been some accusations thrown out there, which are, if true, I have no idea. And it's really kind of the rabbit hole I don't want to go down. This is really not what we do. We're not here to dispute or kind of deal with fights. But I think that we need to go ahead and just make sure that these nets are up. That's my thought. And I have no problem voting on that tonight or putting it on agenda item and voting it on a future agenda.
So let me do it this way for efficiency. Any objections to adding this? I think Commissioner McGurk is right. I think we're going to have to debate it and discuss it. If nothing else, I'd like to get some facts out. I mean, I have questions about how does that board operate? Are we involved at all? Like, I don't know that I understand all of those nuances. So if nothing else, I think having staff give us a briefing at a meeting as an agenda item, that also will put it on the radar, because we're hearing from one side, we haven't heard from the other, because obviously there's somebody out there that doesn't want them, so we haven't heard any of those folks. So any objections to having this added to a future agenda?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I have no objection to adding it. I'd hate for these gentlemen to go away questioning again. As high schools and elementary schools provide gear for their football players, we have older gentlemen who want to play softball. Now you can see these are almost as hard as hard balls. If you get beamed in the head, you could go home, wake up dead. Okay? Randy, Commissioner Hartman might know what a subdural hematoma is. You get beamed in the head and you can be killed by these balls. So I would love to vote on it tonight. You have my approval to use a net. If a guy's brave enough to not use one, more power to him, bless him, but I think we should provide them.
We have, just to be clear, we have provided.
Right.
There are nets there, and again, if I were in the league, I would just drag the net out there if I was pitching. I mean, I don't understand. So, Commissioner Colodi, your comments?
It should be put on as an agenda item. I support the nets myself. I played in a senior league, and they didn't have nets back then, but I wish they did.
All right. So no objections. Let's add it. I don't want to vote on it tonight because I have more questions that I need to explore. Staff's not ready. There's people that didn't know this was on the agenda tonight. So I think staff's direction you've heard from the commission is let's just add it as a future agenda item, have the appropriate staff here that can speak to us as to what that arrangement is, and maybe just provide a little history, and I'll give you some more feedback on the kind of line of questioning that I'll have. But to be very clear, I think everyone up here, and I've said this in public emails, I support the use of nets. We've made them available, and if I were in the league, I'd be using them, and I don't understand why you can't say, I'm going to use a net. I'm going to pitch from behind the net. And if enough players did that, you'd have nets. Okay. Hopefully that gives you all some resolution. We'll try to handle this. Okay, consent agenda. There were 28 items. Remember, we have had item Q and Y that we are not discussing tonight, so that leaves us with 26 items. Gentlemen, as we've been doing for efficiency, if you just have a quick comment, you want to tell the public, hey, just wanted to know I asked about this and here's what they told me, you can make that comment. If you want to separately vote on something, I'll need you to pull that item. So we'll begin at the very end. Commissioner Colodi, do you have any comments, or go ahead and make them now, or tell me if you want to pull any items?
6V, I have a comment.
Go ahead.
Or two.
Okay.
And then I'll go on to the second one.
All right, go ahead.
As most of you know, I have an engineering background.
Make sure to speak in that mic. I don't think they can hear you out there.
Thanks for reminding me. I've been involved in this issue with Hope Street thing since I became aware of it. It's an engineering problem, an engineering mistake that should be corrected. The city has attempted over a number of years to do some patchwork repairs on it. The city staff goes out there under intolerable conditions, as most utility companies do, and we're a utility in this regard. You don't want people to have to go out and do that and have some success in making it better. This is a solution that should have been done originally when the project was put in. It's unfortunate it's taken this long, and I'm glad to see that there's an agenda item that I fully support. I chose not to get involved in the actual technical design of it. My comments would be inappropriate. Our staff can handle it, so I'm glad to see it on the agenda. That takes care of my comments.
Okay.
What I would like pulled is 6O. I would like to hear some presentation on that.
All right, item 6O we're going to pull for Commissioner Clody. Commissioner Sacks, any items to pull or any very brief comments on anything?
Neither, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to hear the comments on 6O.
Okay, Commissioner McGurk.
I just want to comment on Hope Avenue. I am in full agreement, and I'm glad I think that this one will get it done.
Okay, Commissioner Hartman.
Yeah, I also have a comment on the Hope Avenue. Do we actually know when time frame in mind with this, or do we get a good indication from the contractors?
Yeah. We have made a couple of adjustments on the timing. We're trying to get it as quickly as possible. Obviously, the residents have mentioned about the American Rescue Plan. That was one of the goals to do that. However, until today, we have not received the $13.9 million. So we are moving forward with the funding from the Stormwater Fund. Also, we have made a couple of adjustments to reduce the timing, such as the meter can and also on ordering the pump. So I'm hoping 12 weeks, I think that's what he mentioned, and we'll try to get it as fast as possible. There's another component to the project, which is done by the Utilities Commission, and I think Mr. Bunch is here, so I have talked to him as well, and we'll speed that process. So I'm looking forward to get it as quickly as possible.
Thanks. And to the residents that spoke, historically, if you've emailed the mayor, I won't respond back to you because, it's just kind of a courtesy to him that I don't want to get things convoluted. And, a lot of times you get people who are just fishing for different answers. So if you've sent an email and it's entitled to the mayor, I usually won't respond to those types of emails unless it's specifically sent to me. So just so you know, I'm not ignoring you. I'm not in favor of your project. That's just kind of a policy that I have. So thank you. That's all I have.
Okay. I just had a couple real quick comments on a few items. Actually, I was just a little out of order, but on the Hope Avenue, wasn't involved in the beginning. Obviously, lessons learned. I think your summary was well done. And this commission we really are trying to do more of that, where we look at things and, first of all, try to do it right the first time. Sometimes that means waiting a little bit until we make the right investment, but doing it right the first time. And I think you see that here. When it started, there were 3 possible ways we could do it, and we're choosing to do it the way that we feel like. It's not the cheapest. We feel like it is doing it right, not the first time, but at least the first time for this group of 5 and this staff. So, but engineering is Apollo 13 was built by engineers too. Stuff goes wrong. People don't anticipate it. You figure it out and adjust. So I've supported this. I also, during this whole time, I've relied heavily on that zone commissioner, knowing his also experience with engineering. I told Khaled early on, whatever Commissioner Clody thinks, I'm going to kind of follow that lead because this is his bailiwick and his zone. So, I'm glad to see this coming through. I'm glad to hear that it has his support. He thinks we're heading in the right direction. So, and then the other item, I'm not going to pull it, but I just wanted to clarify item 6, all of the Waste Pro things. So 6S, I don't know which item it would really be, but related to those and that contract. And I talked to Ken, who's here, and I've talked to Khaled as well. We rarely get just a ton of compliments, but when we get compliments, one of the ones I get very frequently actually is for our trash collectors, our trash and garbage and servicemen. It was really funny because before this meeting, I was talking to some folks and they started saying, and he's like, I just got to tell you, the one thing I love about this city is and so I called Ken over and I was like, you got to hear this because it happens. The one complaint, though, I have heard is Flagler Avenue trash, and even Canal Street, but more Flagler, during special events and just sometimes busy weekends, the trash collection, it piles up. Certain busy corners, we don't have enough containers, it doesn't get picked up, it overflows. I've got numerous pictures that have been sent to me. I've talked to Khaled about it before, but this is a time of renewal, so let's just make sure, working with Ken, and I talked to him as well, we've got to do something there. I mean, we've got to get more cans. We've got to get a collection. We've got to do something there to make sure that doesn't continue to happen. We know when these events are going to happen. So at a minimum, during special events, we should have some plan in place to put a bunch of extra things there. If it's a random busy weekend, I'll give you those. but we should anticipate those too. If it's sunny and warm, we're going to have a full Flagler Avenue. So I'd hope that Ken and we can work together and work on that. And there was another issue brought up by a resident that there was an area where we'd agreed to have kind of a quiet collection time and it not be early in the morning because it's commercial, but it's in a residential area. Hopefully we can renew focus on that and make sure that message gets passed down to everyone involved. So those are my comments on those items, and I don't think it's worth pulling. I'm not going to write it in the contract. I have confidence in all the staff involved can make that happen and make it a focal point. And I think that was it. Okay, so with that, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda excluding item O, which was pulled, item Q, which was postponed, and item Y, which was postponed?
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second.
City Clerk?
Commissioner Colodi?
Yes.
Commissioner Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sacks?
Yes.
Mayor Owen?
Yes.
Thank you.
Commissioner Colodi, you wanted to talk about item O.
Our building department works very hard. They have a very thankless job. It's not unique to New Smyrna Beach. It's every single municipality that I've either worked for or worked in. Speech recognition and the ability to make the requests and everything is very good. But I'd like to hear a little bit about how we've worked out some of the bugs in the system and how your staff opinion is as to how it's going along.
Sure. This item O, is for a very particular piece of technology called Selectron, which is an IVR system, interactive voice response. This is really a small component of our technology upgrades that we've purchased, we've implemented, has not gone live yet. Is not gone live because our main system, our Tyler Energov system, we're still working out some bugs with that. We are making very good progress over the last month or so. We've had some help from the city attorney's office. We've gotten more support from Tyler. We are working out those bugs. We're not quite there yet. I know we've been saying that for a while, but the last month has been a really good step forward. So things are improving. This particular item, just a brief overview of what it is. We're holding off until the system is fully operable. But this is a very simple way of scheduling, canceling, rescheduling, or checking results for inspections. Our inspections are going very well. We're fully staffed. If you call an inspection today, it gets done tomorrow. We don't roll inspections, so it is really one of our best running aspects of the building department. What this does, it really helps the customer. If they're on site and they have a phone, they can call for an inspection the next day. They don't have to log in anywhere or go online. And then it's also better for our staff because once they do that, we don't have to manually enter that inspection. So right now, if someone calls or emails or walks in, we will schedule that inspection, but it takes staff time. There's an inefficiency there. This IVR system is just automatic. It shows up the next day. So we're hoping to roll it out soon. This is the service renewal is in this agenda item. I'd be glad to take any other questions about it.
No, I'm glad to hear you're making these steps forward. As I said, it's a thankless job you have because every contractor wants his inspections immediately. They sometimes don't go back and answer questions that you have asked. So any way we can streamline the program, make it more efficient, I fully support that. That's it.
Commissioner Sacks, you also think?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
All right, do I have a motion on item 6O?
Well, I'll make a motion to approve that.
Do I have a second?
Second.
City Clerk, if you'd call the roll.
Commissioner Colodi?
Yes.
Commissioner Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sacks?
Yes.
Mayor Owen?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, I believe, if everybody concurs, that clears the consent agenda. We will now move to item 7A, which is a code enforcement lien amnesty request. Barbara.
Good evening. This item is a lien amnesty request from Patricia and Robert Malecki, the property owners of 2061 Page Avenue. It's located in the inter-service boundary agreement. They submitted the lien amnesty for discussion to see if the commission would be in agreement for them to pay 10% of the existing lien. The lien total is $48,850 before interest. With the interest, the total is $49,214.12. 10% of that would equal $4,921.41. This first came to code enforcement in June of 28th, 2018. It was a complaint filed about the condition of the property at 2061 Page Avenue. On July 3rd, a notice was served to the property owners with a compliance date of July 17th, 2018. After due notice to the respondents, the first hearing was held on August 21st, 2018. The property was found in non-compliance and given until 1 p.m. on September 18th to comply. The property was not brought into compliance. The second hearing was on September 18th, 2018. At that time, the case was continued to give the property owner a little bit more time to work on compliance of the property. The third hearing, we imposed a fine of $50 per day, commencing on October 16th, 2018. A lien was filed in July of 2019 on the property of Robert and Patricia Malecki. This property was found in compliance on June 11th, 2021. Ms. Malecki called me and asked for a compliance inspection stating that they had brought the property into compliance. So my theory behind this property is it probably was in as bad a shape or worse than our property on Kennard that we've been dealing with. We've gone into the Kennard property. We have several liens. We've gone in and cleaned it up. The city's probably got over $10,000 worth of monies put into cleaning up the Kennard property. So my feelings on this is that I would agree to reduce this to the 10%, basically because the only thing that we had to do was serve them the notice, take them to the hearing, and they willingly cleaned up the property. We did not have to go in and clean up the property. We did not have to serve them with a nuisance abatement notice at all. They did contact us and let us know that they were working on the property to bring it into compliance. It's very unusual for me to ask for a reduction, and with looking at the property and comparing it to the nightmare property on Kennard, I just feel that since these property owners did work hard, yes, it took them almost 2 years, but they did work very hard. They got the property cleaned up, and I just feel that since they're the ones that cleaned it up, they took the initiative to keep working on it to get it cleaned up, that I could agree with this reduction.
Okay. Any questions by the commission for staff? Yes, Commissioner McGirt.
Thank you, Barbara. You knew exactly what I was going to ask you. The fact that I was reading this staff report and you agreed with it, I'm like, holy cow. So, and I mean that in the best ways. You do, you're the one on the front lines. You're the one who deals with all the hassle, all the headaches, all the grief. So I was talking to Kala during the agenda briefings, and I'm like, hold on, I'm gonna have to ask Barb some questions on this one. So, was this I noticed that the letter that they wrote to us in the file is not the same address as the property. So was this a rental property, or what was the circumstance of this
I'm really not sure if it was rental or if they were using it for storage I believe they have some kind of a business. I'm not sure if they were using it for storage or if they did have someone living in the house. I think at the time that we were there was someone living at the house, but I don't know if it was a relative, a tenant, or who they were. The property, it was unbelievable. And really, if they wouldn't have let us into the fenced-in area, we would have never known a lot of that was back there. But they were even willing to allow us to walk their property, which they could have told us, see you later. But they were willing to let us in, show us around, make recommendations on how to clean it up. And I just feel that because they worked with us, and our ultimate goal is voluntary compliance.
Right.
2 years is still better than us spending money to go clean it up.
It's frustrating it got to that point and it took so long for them to clean it up, but certainly going to defer to you. We have taken that liberty to make that decision on other cases, so I'll certainly support reducing that lien, and I appreciate the kind of backstory on the property. Thank you.
Other questions or comments? Commissioner Sachs. Vice Mayor Sachs.
Barb, did this go to magistrate?
I believe it went to the magistrate, yes.
So I think a discussion down the line for the commission, it's a concern of mine. There's a disparaging difference between 4,800 and 48,000, and I'm wondering how we derive the schedule, basically. $50 a day can sure add up really fast, and that's not even speaking to whether the violator wants to comply or not. $48,000 for me is a lot of money, and I certainly wouldn't want to put that burden on someone. But I was over there to visit the property and realized its proximity to the Turnbull Creek. It's probably, in my estimate, about 1,000 feet away from the creek area. And so when I saw what was part of the violation, releasing of automobile oil, Freon, these are really noxious chemicals, or things that have components that are chemicals, and it's going into our water. So the two things are, should we come back and visit how we find people, how we have to decide, there's three subjects, how we find them, should this body supersede what the magistrate finds is an appropriate fine, and is there a middle ground somewhere for these folks? But it was very serious when I realized how close it is to a water body that we ask taxpayers to pay $9 million to protect, and here we have this problem with this property. I appreciate that they finally cleaned it up, but I can't see reducing it all the way down to 4,800. I appreciate your thoughts, Barb. And did the violator come to you with the wish of 10%?
Yes, she said that she was willing to pay up to 10%, and I stand corrected, it did go to the code board, I'm sorry.
It went to code board and the magistrate?
No, just the code board.
So,
and I'm not sure that, with the neighboring properties out there and some of the neighbors, this may have also been turned into some of the other agencies that may have dealt with some of the other environmental issues. That I'm not positive.
Again, I'd hate to hammer people with $48,000, but companies pay millions of dollars in fines when they pollute the water. So I can't support 4,800.
Okay. Other comments? Or yes, Commissioner.
Well, basically, I'd like to echo some of the comments of Commissioner Sachs. The violations that were there were pretty severe, and the water is right nearby. And I think from what I read, the basic first action was in October 2018. We're 3 years down the road. To have violations like that last that long is too long. I'm glad they cleaned it up. Shouldn't have made it in the first place. $48,000 is a crazy amount of money. I agree with that, and there should be a reduction. I made a calculation. Unfortunately, I don't remember exactly what I did. It had to do with the $50 fine, had to do with the dates between October of 2018 and July of 2019. That comes to around $13,500. I'm willing to go for a reduction, provided, of course, as I have in the past, that it be paid within 10 calendar days. I know that's worked in a couple of the other ones in the past. So I can support a reduction. I can't support a reduction down to the amount they're asking for. I would like to see it closer to $13,500. They were in that business, apparently, from their correspondence, and they had the means to clean it up sooner. So I'm willing to grant a reduction, not to the amount requested, and that it be paid within 10 days.
Okay. Any comments?
Yeah, so some of my concerns when I talked to the city manager was, you know, if they're in the process of cleaning these up, you know, should we put a stop on the lien process and as long as they're moving forward, you know, and some other things like that. And he's agreed that we maybe could look at some of those things, maybe cap liens in the future. So I'm encouraged by that. The other thing I want to point out is that this is a county property. I mean, without the ISBA, we wouldn't even be involved in it. Our time here was minimal. They served them with the notice. They went to the board. There wasn't a lot of time and effort put forth on us. I mean, we didn't clean it up. We didn't send anybody out there. It was more of a procedural thing. And we don't know, I don't think Barb knows when they actually, you know, were they 50% cleaned up, you know, in 2019? You know, were they 80%? Did it just take them that long to finish the last little bit? So I think, you know, they've acted in good faith. I also think that we should do the same. I don't usually support these lien reductions, but this is one that I could because, like she said, our ultimate goal is to get the property cleaned up. They did that. Just took them a little longer than what maybe we wanted to do. But, you know, there's a lot of time gone on. You know, did they get right on it, or, you know, was it all at the last month or whatever? So, but yes, I can support staff's recommendation.
Okay. Real quick, I think Commissioner or Vice Mayor, sorry, nailed it, and I think you were alluding to this as well. These are difficult. Every time, these are difficult. And I echo Commissioner McGurk's comments. You're on the front lines of this. So again, thank you for what you do. It's a probably right up there with the building department as one of the more thankless jobs in our city. So no one probably is happy to see you come. So we appreciate that. And it is highly unusual for you to support a reduction. So that carries a lot of weight with me because oftentimes you're not in that position, and yet we're often in a tough position. And for me, you try to look at why do we issue speeding tickets? It's so that people won't speed. I don't care about collecting the revenue of the speeding ticket. I just don't want people to speed down my road and hit my child. So why do we have these fines? It's so that we don't have nuisance properties. It's not because we want to collect money or go through any of this pain. And so I always struggle with the property owner. Oftentimes it's even a transition, and new property owners come in, they've inherited something, they've immediately got it cleaned up, and then we're put in this rough spot of, you know, what good does it do for us to collect $50,000? And, you know, the problem is solved, and, you know, so I think there is an opportunity and a need for us to look at, you know, how these decisions are made, maybe even if it can be a little more formulaic, because it is very subjective and it's very tough. And oftentimes, you know, we hear all kind of stories and reasons, and there's, you know, it becomes a little bit like a college professor getting a late paper sometimes. You got to hear about all the people that have, you know, the illnesses in the family and everything else. And there's got to be a better way, because it's a tough spot. And I'd like to just make sure we're focused on the objective is, I don't want a nuisance property next to me. And no one else does either. And so I've been a little frustrated. I've shared that publicly. We have ones that I've basically been told our hands are pretty tied. Like, all we can do is just keep accruing this massive fine and, you know, try to work with the county. And so the fact that we have a property that was leaking oil possibly into the Turnbull watershed and now isn't, I'm good with that. Like, that's the objective of this. And if they're willing to you know, pay this amount that's owed, we can charge them $48,000 all we want. But then what if they don't pay it? Like, there's very little recourse after that. I mean, that's where we're at with a lot of other properties. So I mean, I don't want to broadcast that, but that's the issue. So in this case, I support the staff's recommendation. You know, so and I also want to be very clear. Although this is, within a mile or so from my house. I have no clue. I've never met these people that I know of. So every time Paige or Corbin comes up, everybody assumes that they're all connected to me, but they're not. So, all right. With that, do I have a motion on this item?
I'll make a motion to approve the recommended 10% fee, 10% on the total penalties and interest.
Okay. So a motion to accept staff's recommendation.
Yes.
Okay. Do I have a second? Hearing no.
If I can make an amendment,
Give it a shot.
that it be paid within 14 calendar days?
Is that acceptable to the motion maker?
I'll add the payment is within 14 calendar days of this date.
Okay. So I had a motion to accept staff's recommendation payable within 14 calendar days. Do I have a second?
Second.
City Clerk, if you'd call the roll.
Commissioner Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sacks?
No.
Commissioner Cloney?
No.
Mayor Owen?
Yes. All right. The lien amnesty request is approved as motion. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, item 8. So, gentlemen, we're on to ordinance and second readings. If you scan down through there, we have a couple of folks here from the Utilities Commission, one of whom is our CEO, Joe Bunch. We appreciate him being here. I had the chance to see him earlier today. They had their meeting today, and we swore in the new commissioner. So I went over and did that. And they have items 8, and they have item 8A, and then item H and L. So if it's okay with the commission, since those are all just kind of linked to the UC, any objection to considering those items sequentially so we can get that staff? This is their second meeting of the day. So, all right, seeing no objections, we're going to hear item 8A to begin with.
Ordinance number 4821, an ordinance adopting the annual budget for the Utilities Commission, City of New Smyrna Beach for fiscal year ending September 30th, 2022, providing for public hearing, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Okay. It's a public hearing. Any members of the public wish to comment on this item, 8A? Seeing none. Does the commission have any questions for staff on this item? Seeing none, do I have a motion to adopt ordinance 4821?
So moved.
Second.
City Clerk.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Cloney?
Yes.
Commissioner Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Owen?
Yes.
Thank you.
Item 8H, City Attorney.
Ordinance number 3521, an ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach authorizing the Utilities Commission, City of New Smyrna Beach, Florida, to use a standard developers agreement for a term exceeding 4 years, providing for public hearing, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Okay, this is also a public hearing. Any members of the public here for item 8H would like to speak? Now's your chance. Seeing none, do we have any commission discussion questions? Do we need a staff presentation? If not, do I have a motion on item 8H?
Motion to approve ordinance number 35-21.
Second.
City Clerk.
Commissioner Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Cloney?
Yes.
Mayor Owen?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, and then the last one.
Ordinance number 4721, an ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach authorizing the Utilities Commission, City of New Smyrna Beach, Florida, to enter into the exclusive road easement agreement with the County of Volusia for the Williamson Boulevard extension for a term exceeding 4 years, providing for public hearing, providing for conflicting ordinances, and providing an effective date.
And that, for the record, was item 8L, 4721. Had the reading. This is a public hearing. Any members of the public here for item 8L? This is your chance to speak on that item. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Commission discussion on this item. Go ahead.
I have discussed this briefly at previous meetings. I've also spoke with Mr. Bunch. I have concerns not with the road easement, no problems with that whatsoever, but when we get down into the construction end of it, I have concern about the wetlands and in particular the wetlands mitigation The way things are right now, mitigation can be purchased, and the benefits go out of New Smyrna Beach. I have written to our manager, who I believe has distributed that for our fellow commissioners and the mayor. I would like us to look into a way to keep those benefits in our town. I don't want somebody purchasing the destruction of wetlands and have that benefit go to a different area. Granted, it stays within the same drainage basin, but not here. So I'm looking forward to a discussion on that at a future meeting. I would like it placed on our next meeting agenda.
Okay.
Which I'll speak to that later.
Okay. Other discussion on this item, or do I have a motion?
Discussion, please.
Go ahead. Figure so.
It's probably been since 2012 that I have been very concerned about this parcel. It is a water reclamation area, a water recharge. I think we have approximately 4 wells, on the property. It is to be expanded for other services, utilities, hopefully water related. I'm very concerned that once we open up Williamson Boulevard as a road, it will further lead to development of that property. I cannot think of another way to mitigate or to exchange with credits or however they do that process of finding like land somewhere else. It doesn't hold water for me. Again, here it is before me, and it is a major connector. I can see the benefits of that, but again, I read my lips. You'll see in the future this will open the door to development. When I was a member of the CAC, to the TPO, the Citizens Advisory Committee, we were already discussing that a long time ago. You would know, Commissioner McGurk, the Williamson Boulevard extension, the Pioneer Trail exit. It was all being discussed. It was one or the other, and then it was both. So we're going to see major development out there, and I'm sure I'm going to be in the minority. But for the sake of our potable water, for the sake of having a place for recharge, I can't think of another place to put it. I would have to disagree with this extension. I had asked a long time ago, why can't we use Airport Road? And that was immediately dismissed. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Any comments? Go ahead.
Just some questions, some clarification. Jake, you said there's 4 wells. What do you mean by that? I'm not sure I understand.
Potable water wells.
There's 4 wells?
That go to the aquifer, Florida aquifer.
Who uses the wells?
We did the Utilities Commission.
Okay.
Water supply sustainability, it's...
No, I'm just asking. I just wanted some clarification on what you meant by the wells.
Well, yeah.
Okay. That was my only question. Just a clarification on that.
Joe, do you have, I've got a couple of things. I just want to make sure we've got clarity here. I don't know if you can answer, maybe some of your team that's here. So we've heard, it's been out in the public a lot about the recharge area, and it kind of links to the impact on the wells and the recharge. So can you help us, help the public understand and have some assurances, this item specifically and other plans impact on recharge area and or potable water wells? Is there?
Sure, a couple things. So for the benefit of folks not familiar with that property, it goes from State Road 44 north up the Pioneer Trail at the north terminus and over west to Venetian Bay and then up behind Walmart to Interstate 95. We currently have our water reclamation facility, aka water treatment facility. That takes sewage, turns it into reclaimed water, which we then redistribute for irrigation. We do also have, to Commissioner Sachs' point, several raw water production wells. That's one of 24. We also have sites at Glencoe Road and then out as far west as Samsula. They all feed back to our Glencoe water treatment plant where we produce water for potable water for distribution. Now, the rest of the property, we're simply the property owner. The county has a desire to extend the road past Route 44, and as I understand it, down south of Edgewater. We just happen to be in between. We facilitated discussion with the county, city, Florida Department of Highways, and the representatives for the properties to the north and south to develop a path that was mutual to everybody and also one that minimized impact on wetlands. So we're not a developer per se. Now, we've got plans for the long-term use of that property. We will be putting in additional water production wells at some point. When we eventually get to the point where our Glencoe water treatment plant, which is our potable water production, gets to capacity, we'll extend production facilities out at that site to augment that capacity. At that time, we would probably drill additional wells. So now to the question of recharge, all land absorbs water for recharge into the aquifer, some more areas more than others. This region within Florida is considered low recharge relative to other areas. But that said, as soon as you pave surfaces, you're restricting the ability to percolate down. So again, it's a question of the county's master plan and them having an easement to build that road. This easement is strictly for that purposes. It doesn't deal with anything else. The last thing I'll say is we are also going to be looking at additional uses for that land to include utility scale solar. So our resolutions passed by the Utilities Commission read specifically that this is for utility operation production purposes and is to be preserved for those purposes. So regarding other development, there's nothing in our plans and no desires to sell the property. Any use that we see at this point in time, and while 953 acres sounds like a lot of land, when you start considering things like solar fields, production plants, drilling wells, you can quickly gobble up land, particularly when you consider that probably half of this is wetlands and not all of it's entirely usable. So again, long-term plans, utility use, benefit the public, keep costs low locally. We just happen to be the landowner that's in between the north terminus of that property and Route 44.
Okay. So I just want to highlight a couple of things you said. Stop me if I don't want to put words in your mouth, but so plans to place utilities infrastructure on the property, so but by the term developing it for public use, not selling off to be built by residential development or commercial or anything else, is nowhere in the plan at this point. Not saying it might not ever happen.
Yeah. So first buildings to go in will be our fleet field operations building. We've talked with this commission about potential eventually move from our Canal Street headquarters out in that direction so that the community would have a more beneficial use for that property. But again, it's utility use and vision for that property.
Okay. And as far as impact to the wells, the 4 wells or whatever the number of wells that are there, you're saying this would have no impact, and we would still even have the capacity to add future wells if needed in that spot.
Correct. We've got land set aside for additional wells and an additional potable water treatment plant at that site eventually as well.
Okay. All right. Got it.
And again, we plan for like the 50-year horizon. We're not thinking, oh goodness, we could sell the land for a few $1 million and that's a big amount of money to us. It's not. It's more important that we have long-term sustainable water supply for the community.
Yeah. And that's, again, the discussions I've heard from the Utilities Commission, I think when we had the joint meeting, which probably wouldn't be a terrible idea to do again at some point, that's what I had heard, was we need the space more than we need anything else. And so, okay, any other questions for Joe while we have him here?
Just a quick one, Mr. Mayor. Joe, we'll be considering a reverse osmosis plant there as well?
So that's not really our choice. The Regional Water Management District, which in this case is St. John's Water Management District, will tell us what type of water treatment to put in, and it's dependent upon how deep the wells you're drilling are. Now, what they've required is in 2005 was for all utilities to develop what they're calling an alternative water source plan, which utilizes water further down, so you have to drill deeper wells, and inherently those wells will yield water that's higher in salt water content. That requires reverse osmosis treatment to most effectively remove it. That's the plan that they've recommended for this type, and if and when we get there, that's what it is currently planned for. Now, could that change? Certainly, but that's the current plan, and that had to be filed by law back, I think, in 2005, maybe 6.
Thank you, Joe.
Sure, thank you.
Okay. Do I have a motion? Yes, go ahead.
I have a motion to approve the easement agreement.
So a motion to adopt ordinance 4721 to approve the agreement. Do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Hartman has a second. If no other discussion, City Clerk, if you call the roll, please.
Commissioner Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner McGirt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sacks?
No.
Commissioner Flody?
Yes.
Mayor Owen?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Gentlemen, I really just want to move on to item 9 and just keep going. But we got to go back. We skipped over a few things. Thank you to those of you from the Utilities Commission, Joe and Ephraim. And Joy, right? Who's Joy? All right, item 8. So, gentlemen, that was item 8A that we've already done. So we're going to go to 8B, Resolution 4621, City Attorney.
Resolution number 4621, a resolution of the City of New Smyrna Beach, Florida, determining the amount and fixing the rate of taxation and making the annual property ad valorem levy in the amount of 3.7421 mils per $1,000 of non-exempt assessed value for general fund operations of the city for fiscal year beginning October 1, 2021 through September 30th, 2022. Which represents a 4.39% increase from the rolled back rate of 3.5846 and providing an effective date. And just for compliance with the Florida statutes, the name of the taxing authority is City of New Smyrna Beach. The rollback rate is 3.5846. The millage rate to be levied is 3.742, which represents a 4.39% tax increase.
Okay. It's a public hearing, and members of the public here to comment on this item. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. We had some slides ready. Last time we had a bunch of people here that had missed all of the 15 previous budget workshops, and we didn't have the slides. We had them ready tonight. No one's here. That's how it goes. But if you want any more information, again, we're not robo-approving this. We have had debate after debate. We've had presentations, etc. So if you want more information, talk to any of the commissioners or myself, and we can tell you where to find it. I trust me, we have talked about the budget. So do I have a motion to adopt?
Hold on, there's a few other things that need to be put into the record first.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mayor, I just want to just mention one thing. As you mentioned, the current millage that we are about to adopt is the 3.7421, and it is about 4.39% over the rollback. The reason that staff is recommending this millage, the 3.7421, obviously to maintain the level of service, number one. Number two, we have added several staff members, such as the 4.5 police officers and other staff members, and also purchase some equipment. And then we had a couple of items in the budget that we have to accommodate for, such as the railroad repair that we had to accommodate from this budget. So Commissioner Colodi has asked me to look deeper into the budget to see if we could find other items to cut, and all of us have looked, and honestly, we couldn't find anything else to cut. So I just want to make sure that to explain why the 4.93% over the rollback.
Okay.
And be happy to answer any questions.
All right. Do we have any discussion, motion? How many? Yes, sir, go ahead.
Well, as you may remember, I've voted against the last couple budgets. When this was first presented, it was an increase to 3.81 something percent. We did have a vote to keep it at 3.74 as the maximum. I'm pleased that the staff was able to find the funds to include the additional police officers, other safety officers, and the other items along the way. I can support this budget. Doesn't mean I'm not going to be after the budget next year also. I think we've done good with this, and I'm pleased to be able to support it.
Okay. And just for clarity for the public's benefit, this is technically approving the millage, the maximum millage rate, and then we're going to approve the millage rate for our debt issuances, and then we're going to approve the budget. So you may hear some crossover comments and at different times. So, but functionally, you approve the millage, and then you approve the budget that comes out of that. So, all right. Do I have a motion on item 8B, Resolution 4621?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I had a motion and a second. City Clerk, if you call the roll.
Vice Mayor Sacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Clody?
Yes.
Commissioner Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Mayor Owen?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Item 8B is approved. Item 8C is the resolution which would adopt the maximum millage related to the 2005 debt issuance. Again, debt is voted on by the public, and then it's just from there, it's just calculation. It's just like your mortgage, it goes off, and so this is formality, basically. So, Carrie, go ahead.
Resolution number 4721, a resolution of the City of New Smyrna Beach, Florida, determining the amount and fixing the rate of taxation and making the annual property ad valorem levy in the amount of .2522 mils per $1,000 of non-exempt assessed value for INS 2005 voted debt service for fiscal year beginning October 1, 2021 through September 30th, 2022, and providing an effective date.
Okay, it's a public hearing. Any members of the public want to talk about 2005 debt? I thought you were standing up. All right, seeing we probably bought fire trucks with this. You better be. All right, we'll close the public hearing. Do I have a motion to adopt Resolution 4721?
So moved.
Second.
I heard a second from Commissioner Hartman. We'll take that one. City Clerk, if you would call the roll, please.
Commissioner Clody?
Yes.
Commissioner Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sacks?
Yes.
Mayor Owen?
Yes.
Thank you.
Item is approved. 4821 is the 2018 debt issuance. City Clerk, City Attorney.
Resolution number 4821, a resolution of the City of New Smyrna Beach, Florida, determining the amount and fixing the rate of taxation and making the annual property ad valorem levy in the amount of .1319 mils per $1,000 of non-exempt assessed value for INS 2018 voted debt service for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2021 through September 30th, 2022, and providing an effective date.
Okay, it's a public hearing. Any members of the public wish to comment on this item 8D? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. And I'm not seeing anyone that wants to comment up here, so do I have a motion to adopt Resolution 4821?
Motion to adopt Resolution 4821.
Okay, can I get a second? And I'll come to you.
Second the motion.
Yeah, just a comment. As with these type of issues, the millage rate goes down. In this particular one, this is for the Turnbull project. We have not fully borrowed the money to complete the project, so in all likelihood, it may go up next year. And I know there's been some comments in the past that it's going to go down, but it's going to go up, and we're going to have to deal with it in the future.
Correct. Yeah, if we take out more debt, yes.
Yeah, right now we authorized for $14 million and we received 9.5.
Correct.
So yeah, we have additional money to finance environmentally sensitive land.
That would probably, though, come out as a separate debt issuance, so it would be, the 2018 would continue to trend down, and we would have like a 2021 or 2022 issuance that we would tack onto this. probably. Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah, okay. All right, we had a motion and a second. City Clerk, if you'd call the roll.
Commissioner Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Clooney?
Yes.
Mayor Allen?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, and now the actual budget, 4921, City Attorney.
Resolution number 4921, a resolution of the City of New Smyrna Beach, Florida, adopting the budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2021 to September 30th, 2022, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, it's a public hearing. Any members of the public here to comment tonight on the budget? Seeing none, close the public hearing. Discussion by the commission. Any last comments?
This, just to remind the public that there's almost a $750,000 fire truck in this budget. That's something that we had to borrow money for last time we bought fire apparatus. So it's important to me not to go in debt any further than that. So I'm happy that we were able to do that in this year's budget, that we had those extra funds. So I certainly support the budget and would make a motion to adopt resolution number 5121.
Second.
Hang on. Just for clarity, I think you meant 4920. We're on agenda item for 4921.
Yes.
Yeah, the CRA is the next one. So, all right. So we had a motion for 4921. Do I have a second?
Second.
Yeah, I heard some seconds, but I just want to make sure. All right, so we'll take Commissioner McGurk's second. So we had a motion and a second. I had one comment. I noted on first reading, I think you had voted against it, Commissioner Hartman. I just wanted to make sure, did you have concerns that still weren't cleared? And is there anything I'm missing that?
I spoke with the city manager, and some of my concerns were cleared up, so I'm good with the budget.
All right, I just want to make, I mean, we don't have to all agree, but I thought we had all agreed. So when I heard you vote no, I was like, oh, wait, what did I miss? So, okay, any other discussion? If not, City Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Clooney?
Yes.
Commissioner Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Allen?
Yes.
Thank you.
4921 is adopted. Go celebrate tonight. A lot of hard work behind that.
Big stuff.
Okay. 5121, item 8F, City Attorney.
Resolution number 5121, a resolution of the City of New Smyrna Beach, Florida, adopting the annual budget for the Community Redevelopment Agency for fiscal year beginning October 1, 2021, and ending September 30th, 2022, providing for conflicting resolutions and providing for an effective date.
Gentlemen, these echo the resolutions we talked about at the 615 CRA meeting. It's a public hearing. Any members of the public wish to comment on the CRA budget? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Do I have a motion to adopt 5121 this time?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
If no discussion, City Clerk.
Vice Mayor Sacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Clooney?
Yes.
Commissioner Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Mayor Allen?
Yes.
Thank you.
Item 8G, 5221, City Attorney.
Resolution number 5221, a resolution of the City of New Smyrna Beach, Florida, reappropriating the Community Redevelopment Agency fiscal year 2020-2021 CRA fund balance to specific and amended CRA capital projects for fiscal year 2021 through 2022, providing for conflicting resolutions and providing for an effective date.
Okay. It's a public hearing. Any members of the public wish to comment on this item? Seeing none, we'll close it again. This echoes the one we had at the 615 meeting. To have a motion to adopt Resolution 5221.
Motion to adopt resolution 5221.
Second.
I heard Vice Mayor. He's closest. City Clerk, if you call the roll, please.
Commissioner Clooney?
Yes.
Commissioner Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sacks?
Yes.
Mayor Allen?
Yes. All right, that concludes the second budget hearings for the 2021-2022 budget. Thank you to the budget team. Those three folks up front, combined with a lot of other people behind the scenes. Pretty much every department was involved, so thank you all. And starting tomorrow, we'll start changing it. That's the reality. That's what happens. All right, item 8H, we've already heard. Everybody keep me honest. Everybody agree? So we're on to item 8I, J, and K are related to an annexation. City Attorney will read those all together. We'll consider them all at once.
Ordinance number 4421, an ordinance annexing into the City of New Smyrna Beach .24 plus or minus acres of property located on the west side of Oliver Drive between Patricia Drive and Hazel Bishop Drive addressed as 412 Oliver Drive, providing for redefining boundaries of the city, designating the property within Commission Zone 4, providing for public hearing, providing for required filings, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. Ordinance number 4521, an ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach amending the comprehensive plan, changing the future land use designation of .24 plus or minus acres of land located on the west side of Oliver Drive between Patricia Drive and Hazel Bishop Drive, addressed as 412 Oliver Drive, from Volusia County urban medium intensity to city medium density residential, providing for amendment of the associated comprehensive plan maps to show the area incorporated into the city, providing for public hearing, providing for conflicting ordinances, and providing an effective date. Ordinance number 4621, an ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach rezoning .24 plus or minus acres of property located on the west side of Oliver Drive between Patricia Drive and Hazel Bishop Drive, addressed as 412 Oliver Drive, from Volusia County R4A urban single-family residential airport overlay to city R2A single-family residential airport overlay zoning district, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Okay, we'll now conduct the second readings and quasi-judicial to adopt these ordinances, 44, 45, and 46. We'll hear first from Brian. It's a basic annexation. Anything?
Standard annexation complies with the city LDR and comprehensive plan.
Okay. Any member of the commission or the applicant wish to question Mr. Fields on his testimony? Hearing none. We'll now hear from members of the public. Anybody here to comment on these items? Seeing none. No closing remarks. Gentlemen, do I have a motion to adopt ordinance 4421?
Motion to adopt ordinance number 4421.
Second.
City Clerk?
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Clooney?
Yes.
Commissioner Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Owen?
Yes. Do I have a motion to adopt ordinance 4521?
Motion to adopt ordinance number 4521.
Second.
City Clerk?
Vice Mayor Sacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Clooney?
Yes.
Commissioner Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Mayor Owen?
Yes. And a motion to adopt 4621.
Motion to adopt 4621.
Second.
Thank you. City Clerk?
Commissioner Clooney?
Yes.
Commissioner Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Jason?
I'm sorry, yes.
Vice Mayor Sacks?
Yes.
Mayor Owen?
Yes. All right. Item 8L, we have already covered. All right. So that leads us to 9. There are no first readings. There are no boards and commissions. We are up to mayor and commission reports. We'll begin with Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll keep it brief. I understand that Volusia Forever grants may be coming around if we apply in time. I don't know how this commission would agree on lands that we might consider essential for a sustainable environment. Perhaps staff would lead us in that direction. I could think of a few parcels myself. By the railroad tracks, there's a very large wetland area between Myrtle and the tracks. Of course, that's in my zone. And also there's a parcel, very small parcel at 7th Avenue and Saxon that would be a very nice passive park. Because what I foresee possibly being developed on both of those parcels would be very, very intense, and I'm concerned about stormwater runoff there. If we could leave those parcels alone, if they have any value, and if my colleagues agree, staff would perhaps look at those parcels for Volusia Forever grant. Anything? Can I hear anything from staff? Is that something we could consider?
What is the process normally on that? Do we try to give a prioritized list, or how's that work?
Well, Commissioner Sacks, Vice Mayor Sacks mentioned these two properties during his briefings. I just don't know exactly the criteria, in terms of the properties. So we're going to look into it and then probably provide a list of properties for the commission at some point and see if you have any priorities.
Yeah. Between these two and then even all the work we've done with the Turnbull properties and the money that we've got available, I feel like we should be positioned pretty ahead of a lot of other communities in line for this with the due diligence we've done and the sense of, so.
And also, Mayor, if you remember during our discussions with the American Rescue Plan, I have asked the auditors that environmentally sensitive properties, if that's eligible or not. At the time, he said it is, but he wasn't exactly sure. So I think we have some opportunities in that. Then you have Forever, then you have Echo, and then we have the rest of the 15 million from the terminal.
I mean, I don't know. Certainly the 7th Avenue wasn't. I don't know about the one by Myrtle. I know what you're talking about. I don't know if it would be considered in the Turnbull area. But anyway, so
it probably will come back to the commission with lists of properties. So this way, if you have a list of properties that you want to look into, if you just provide the list for us, and we'll look into it.
Okay. I think the main thing is just not missing the grant window. Make sure we at least have something in front of him.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one property he mentioned west of the track along US 1, I mean, that's about 100 acres, if I'm not mistaken. So that's significant there. I'm not sure, how, if the, Forever, is it eligible or not, so. Yeah. But we'll look into it.
Thank you. That's all I have for my report.
Okay. Commissioner McGirt.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to thank staff for the long and arduous budget approval process. They got out of Dodge as quick as they can, but I want to go ahead and thank them for all the time that was put into it. We certainly challenge you to tighten and sharpen that pencil as much as possible. So, and even Commissioner Colodi voted for the. My hat is off. I wanted to make a quick comment on. I served on the Volusia Forever board for a time. I can tell you that they usually like to add to contiguous properties for bigger, small properties. Unless there's something very unique about it that makes it special. They don't just like little tiny spots. The Saxon Avenue might, because already part of that is a park, that might be good. And of course, depending on the railroad, the FEC, how big that is and how significant it is for an area. But they generally look for where the dollars go the best. So just
if those dollars can come to our city, that would be,
And I don't know what they prioritize in the future or what they do now, but that was the goal back then, was to try to make some properties bigger properties and contiguous for all the things that we talk about, conservation, animal habitat, all that kind of stuff.
Good to know. Thank you.
Other than that, that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, Commissioner
I just have a couple little things. We talked tonight about the Turnbull Creek project. I'd like to have maybe an update on that sometime next month, if you can. If there's nothing to report, there's nothing to report. Maybe, even if it's just by email, but I certainly would appreciate a little update on that. I attended the county's road project meeting the other night with Colin. They have a couple things in New Smyrna Beach, but nothing of any major significance. Most of it's in the northern end of the county. But I did ask about Williamson Road, and that's not even on their radar. So they've got the easement, but they said, we have no plans on even starting that whole process anytime in the near future. So they don't have money on it. They have a lot of projects already out there that they've got a little bit of money spent on that they can't even fund now with the money that they have. So, I wouldn't look for that to have shovels in the dirt next week. So they indicated that there was nothing going on with that one. But there were a couple little minor things in New Smyrna Beach that they were going to make some safety improvement on. I think the Sugar Mill intersection at Pioneer, some other stuff along Sugar Mill that they're currently working on, projects that are already in that process. So that was encouraging. Well, at least we're going to get a little bit of that out of there. I also want to echo that all the hard work that staff's done on this budget, I certainly do appreciate it. I know that there's been a lot of meetings, there's been a lot of questions, there's been a lot of back and forth. But I appreciate what they've done, and the email that we've got today from the city manager about the whole budget process, as a direct result of the charter, I think that was very informative. It kind of explained the whole budget process and where we are and why we did what we did. So I think that was a very well thought out document, and I certainly do appreciate all the hard work that I'm sure you didn't do all of it. So
No, I did not.
yeah. So I want to thank everybody that had anything to do involved with that. I mean, it was certainly beneficial. I shared it with a couple of people in my neighborhood that were going, "Oh, my taxes are going up." So I kind of shared, "Oh, I understand now. Oh, okay, I don't have a problem." So, it was very informative, and I certainly do appreciate all that they've done. So thank you for that. That's all I have.
All right. Commissioner Colodi.
Okay. Yeah, the budget process, it worked very well. And it was with the staff and all the various departments that actually got me to approve it. So you did an excellent job. A couple other things. The census. The county's having 3 meetings on the census and the redistricting that goes along with it next month. I've spoke to our staff on this. Having a little difficulty working with the census data that's been provided and hasn't been provided to us. It's something we really got to move along so it doesn't come back in the end and cause us problems. I'm sure they'll keep us up to date whenever that data is available. I've tried to get it myself from the federal government and have had no luck whatsoever. Second thing is I did send a letter, as I spoke of earlier, regarding Williamson. My concern over wetlands mitigation and trying to keep that in this town. I want this on the agenda so we can discuss this, either at the next meeting or the meeting after that, whenever the staff's prepared to. As an example, when there was a commercial development in this town that required the owner to purchase 2 mitigation credits, that money went out of town. We own 2 mitigation credits. If we had something in place to have our mitigation plan, that, whatever it was, $200,000 could have been used to augment Turnbull purchase and other projects similar. So it's going to be a difficult task, both legally and format-wise. I spoke to our manager who's going to try to set up a meeting with our representative on the Water Management District, which is where we're going to have to start. And I hope to move that along, but we should talk about it ahead of time so I'm not flying off in the wrong direction here. Next thing, Zone 1 meeting. I would like to schedule one for the end of November for my constituents to hear what they have to say. Staff's working on an acceptable meeting date for the Coronado Center. Another thing that we've talked about, land development regulations. We have it on our radar, but I would like to just think back over the past year where we've had problems, some of which I think are going to be pretty easy to correct. Lot widths and pavement widths. If we focus on those 2 things, we're going to save a lot of future commissions, a lot of problems from people coming and saying, how did you allow this to happen? That, along with wetland buffers, those are 3 things I would like us to try to address. I know staff's well aware of our concerns on this, but I would like to move it forward whenever they're ready, not over the next couple of meetings. And the last thing is something that has arisen out of our quest to have a mural. The first area that came up was under the bridge, and there was quite an uproar about painting over the efforts of the city through the ACA and through various student organizations to to get the mural that's there put up and put in place. It's sort of fallen a little bit on neglect. It's kind of dirty. Also, some of the fish are gone, but they're not gone. We still have the fish. They're in our maintenance garage. They need some attention. I've spoke with an individual who will work with the city and provide the repairs that are necessary. I would like to see those fish get put back up. I don't know if we need to discuss it formally, but I would like to know once again that I'm not going off in the wrong direction, that if the staff or if the commission approves an attempt to get that back to its original condition, that I can go ahead and work with some of these repairs. There should be no cost involved in it.
You want to pause there and we'll just see. Any objections, gentlemen? Do we want to bring it back as an agenda item or let Commissioner Colodi work with staff? I'd say if there's no cost, I have no issue. If it starts escalating, becomes a cost or any other controversy, then obviously I think, bring it back. But if you've got volunteers and it's no significant burden to the staff, then I'd have no issue just running on it. Because I agree, it came up and it sort of was like, oh yeah, we probably should refresh this. And so
yes.
Let's not let it fall off the radar. Any objections? I think
good idea.
I think you've got the blessing.
Okay, I'll work with staff and move it forward. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay. Is that it? You already went, right? Okay. All right, I have a couple of things here real quick. First, I was really disappointed, actually. Commissioner Hartman had sent me an email earlier about a conference in Paris, and I thought he was going to get it, that we were all going to go, and I guess he just decided. It seemed like a good topic. I feel like we all should probably go. But
That was a wonderful idea, but ask the city manager to take that out of the budget.
all right.
I can't go back and ask him for it again.
I just. All right. No, there genuinely was a Paris conference, but I can't.
And for the record, we were both doing it in jest.
Yeah. No, yes, for sure. You can go pull the email. Public records request that email. It was pretty funny. All right. So a couple of things. State of the City, we've got that date set. I know Phil's working with commissioners on that. If you have thoughts or feedback, funnel those through staff. We're always, speaking of sunshine, we try to be as careful as possible, even though many of those items, we never vote on it. I still rarely, if ever, would come to you directly. We just channel all that through staff to keep that very clear. But certainly if you have ideas, thoughts, feedback, comments, get that to staff as we go through that planning process. We also have in early October, here coming up soon, is the legislative delegation. This happens every year where we have the different state level representatives that represent Volusia County all come to Volusia County, usually it's out in DeLand somewhere, and all of us elected officials, I guess public can as well, but I think it's primarily elected officials that get up and speak to different items. The items that I have on my list so far, and I only have 3 minutes, and it's generally like the inverse of this. So, and you got to spend at least a minute telling them how good of a job they're doing, or else they don't listen to you. Kind of like us. No, I'm just kidding. So you don't have a lot of time, so this isn't the time for a deep discussion. The two items that, in talking with staff, that I felt like I did want to put on the radar to our delegation. Gentlemen, you remember there's a cap right now on parking fines, and we've talked about it before here. We can only charge up to, I think it's like 30 and plus 3 that has to go to a certain place. I'm going to just put that on their radar and let them know that that's not even being inflated for inflation at this point. And so we feel like we need a little more, we'd like to have a little more flexibility for coastal communities. That's more, that just does no good. And then the second one was Brian and his team have outlined some issues that we have with the tree ordinance that was passed that superseded ours. Not even asking for complete reversion, although I'd be okay with that, but we definitely need some clarity. There's some confusion that's generated. There's tons of loopholes that can create confusion with neighbors, with us, and so anyway, so just going to point out, highlight some of those things. And again, remember, the real work on these is usually done trying to lobby folks kind of before or after the meeting, so certainly this won't be the last we talk about these things. So again, if you have any other things that come to your mind, run it by staff and they can put it on my radar. radar. If I have time, I'll work it in, or if it's even above these, I'd be happy to substitute. We do give them a heads up of what we're going to talk about so they can be ready, but I can always call an audible. Tomorrow night, I guess it is, we have a task force that has been formed primarily for the coastal communities, so kind of starting like Edgewater. Actually, I don't even think Edgewater's there. Starting with us and then kind of working up to like Ormond, just up the coast for special events. And it came out of the truck meet. And numerous cities and the county said, hey, we'd like to be out ahead of this a little bit better. So it's a public meeting, but invited to kind of take part in the roundtable were the mayors, the police chiefs, and the city managers of those kind of coastal communities. So it's the kickoff meeting. We'll see how far it gets. The main thing I'm going to try to make sure we do, if I speak at all, is just having a united front. If one city has the open for business sign out, it's going to impact all of us. So we've got to have kind of a united front on this. And some events just are not right for any of our communities. And I think there's broad agreement on that from what I've heard so far at the Mayor's Roundtable. So I think we're going to try to control some of these, but acknowledging the difficult thing is some of these are not sanctioned events. I mean, the truck meet was largely unsanctioned. It was just spread on social media, hey, be here at this time. And that's very hard to, we're not going to be able to shut that down necessarily. But so anyway, that's what the point of the event or the point of that meeting is. Again, I think it is open. I think it's open to the public, although maybe not for participation, but just to be able to attend if you wanted. Otherwise, I'll give a report back at our next meeting. And the last one, just so you all know, I asked for, and we don't have to have it in a meeting. You can just maybe send it to each of us. If you recall, we made some tweaks and changes to the health insurance plan for employees. That enrollment period has closed, and we had some forecast of, hey, if 20% enroll, this is how much we'll save, and but it was a complete wag of whether 20% would enroll. So I've asked staff to just give us an update on what that enrollment process looked like, and then if there would be any budget impacts. If we drastically missed the target, I guess it could have a small budget impact. So just would love to get a report to the commission on that. And unless it's material, I don't think we need an agenda item for it, but just so we each are on the same page. And I believe that was all of my items. Khalid, did I cover everything that we talked about that I needed to make sure we covered? Okay. City clerk report. Oh, sorry, city manager report. I skipped.
I just want to, for the sake of the public, about the testing sites. As I have mentioned to all of you during the briefings, I met virtually with the contractor that I got the name from the county, NOMI, N-O-M-I. We talked about using the multi-purpose room at the city gym. Depending on the number of tests in the beginning, how it goes, and if the number increases, then we could move into the gym. That would not cost the city any funding at all, besides providing the facilities for them. There is two possibilities, that they might open from 10 to 4 or from 8 to 4. They haven't decided yet. The city attorney's office, they drafted an agreement for me. I sent it to them. I have not heard back. As soon as we hear back, I think he said it would take him probably about a week in order to open the testing site. So what I'm asking, if it's possible, that when we get the agreement, if we could approve the agreement and bring it back to you on the 12th, that will save us some time. Otherwise, I have to bring it to the 12th, and it's going to take him another week. So I'm asking your authorization that we could proceed forward with it, and we'll bring it to you on the 12th.
So at no cost to the city other than the use of the facility and possibly some staff. What are the, I talked about one other thing.
There is no staff time from our side, so it's them. They would set up the sites. So the only thing we're providing the facility, that's it.
And there's no lost revenue to that. We don't lease that space out.
Well, I'm sure that we will lose some because they, I guess they have some people who use the multi-purpose room for some type of activity. But I don't think it's going to be that much to begin with. But I think for the benefit of what we're getting out of it, I think it would outweigh the revenue that we're getting.
Yeah. And we would evaluate that on a, if no one's showing up, we'd just shut the whole thing down.
Well, they will actually have to shut down if they don't have the number of tests, so...
Okay. So I think the ask was to authorize tonight, kind of a little bit sight unseen, that city manager and I guess myself, if needed, could execute the agreement. It would still come to us, but at that point, we've really already entered into it just for expeditious sake, or we could alternatively wait and have it come back to us at the October 12th meeting, which would just further delay. So any objections to that authorization? Let's just have a formal motion on that if somebody can.
I make a motion to approve that.
Okay. I had a motion. I had a second. Everybody have clarity on what that
question is? This going to be? Do you know if it's a rapid test or PCR test, or did?
I think we could ask for the type of test that we want. So I'm going to ask for all the 3 tests that it's possible. So whatever they could provide. So.
All right.
Just to clarify, my motion is to authorize you to sign an agreement based upon the recommendations of the manager.
Okay. Got it. City Clerk, if you'd call the roll.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Cloney?
Yes.
Commissioner Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Owen?
Yes.
Thanks.
And Mayor, two more things. October 19th is hopefully the deadline for the commission to get with Phil, provide their video and also the 2 people that they want from their zones. At least, so this way we'll have some time to finalize the video for the November 2nd. So if you haven't got with Phil, please do so because he's going to be out on personal leave. He sent an email today for you. So if you could do that, that would be appreciated. We talked about the workshop in December. We had 2 dates, either the 15th or the 16th. And it looks like the 15th is the set date for the workshop. If you would please, if you have any topics that you want to discuss during that workshop, if you could send it to me so we can prepare the items. And with that, if you have any questions on the CM report, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Any questions for Colin on his report tonight? Seeing none? Did I hear something? No. Seeing none? City Clerk report.
No report, sir.
City Attorney report.
Just keeping you all updated on the progress of the borrow pit. We were waiting to see if he was going to request a city commission agenda for reconsideration of that item. Instead, he has filed the attorney has filed on behalf of the applicant a petition for writ of mandamus. The court will review that, and if there's merit to it, we will get 20 days to respond upon the court ordering an alternative writ of mandamus. So it's still a wait and see at this point.
Okay. Any questions for the city attorney or the clerk? Hearing none, if there's no other business before the board, meeting is adjourned.